So now we're in the final phase of the automobile, I would say, which isn't the end of the automobile, but it's moving into a mixed era of mobility. Well, actually, when we talk about smart mobility, we actually use the word smarter mobility. The reason being is that smart mobility is a bit too static for us. We believe we're in an era of rapid transformation, constantly changing technologies and solutions. And smarter mobility is continuously moving forward and becoming efficient. The challenge of any new technology is if it doesn't perform straight away, it may pick up bad reputations, or it may acquire reputation for things not working as well as it should, even when that technology gets to the point where it can do the job with no issues at all. And I think we've seen that in electrification of mobility. If we look 10 years ago when the Nissan Leaf and the Renault Zoes were being launched, those cars did have their limitations. The range was limited, charging infrastructure was non-existent in many places. And so these memories would be ingrained in people's minds. So having those memories revised or those perceptions changed is a challenge. The great thing is that the technology is ready to perform today. Range is no longer an issue. Charging is no longer an issue in many parts of the world. Here in Dubai, for example, there are over 250 public chargers and over 400 charging stations in total in Dubai. The challenge is raising awareness and engaging the right people, whether that's people, consumers, businesses and government. How do we do that is obviously the golden question. We do it through the EVRT events, which are very visual, experiential electric vehicle road trips, and the Smarter Mobility World, which is an experiential summit, also has test drives and experiences, presenting case studies of success. I think the work that Amina does, the work that Generation.e does, helps to bridge that gap, identifying the fears and concerns around transition.
How do you see case evolving differently in each region?
So the case for case is very strong in places like Europe, but it's strong here as well. And I think we've seen some unexpected results from case in this region, in the Middle East. And I think one that I always love to mention, and we always should mention, is eCar. I mean, they came onto the scene back in 2015 and 16 as a car sharing company. Nobody really thought car sharing was going to make any kind of dent here. People thought it wouldn't work because there are these perceptions around people loving their own cars. No one would share a car. Why would they do that? But actually the growth of car sharing here has been tremendous. And as a result, and upon reflection, people would have realized that car sharing works very well in places like Dubai. Why? Because it's a great city for cars, the distances are far, and people aren't ready to give up the car yet. They might be ready to give up car ownership. And then a lot of case is going to be driven by regulation as well. And in Dubai, there's a target to have 25% of all journeys to be autonomous by 2030. I think there is no golden bullet today in terms of the right smarter mobility solution. But what we are really excited about is how we can move towards removing car ownership or the need for car ownership.
When we talk about smart mobility, it's not just cars really, we're talking about scooters, as you mentioned, drones. Do you see these form of mobility following the same trends as automobility as we know it? What's your prediction on that one?
What we've gone through here in the last 100+ years is a cycle. Many of the cities and countries that embraced the automobile had an era where they actually didn't have the automobile. So they were used to horse and cart and public transport. Trains were the dominant force of mobility. And then the era of the car came, and that seemed to be the golden bullet. I mean, why wouldn't it be? People could drive around in these very nice cars, get from point A to B without getting wet or hot or cold, carry some stuff in the back of the trunk. It's been the golden bullet. The issue is we're now facing challenges around congestion, air pollution, carbon emissions,